We have finally done it. After 4.5 billion years on Earth, we have finally created a good Superman movie. Turns out all it took was just making a Superman movie, like an actual one with the real canon Superman. You see, for a long time growing up, I was absolutely one of those kids who always thought Superman was kinda boring. Kinda lame. I was a Batman kid through and through. Batman rules and Superman drools. But then I started to realize that could very well just be because I've never actually seen a good Superman adaptation, and I was starting to think that I never would. But when I saw James Gunn was directing his own Superman movie to kick off a whole new universe, I was skeptical, but for the first time I did have a little thing called hope. Because yes, I am a James Gunn glazer, and I am proud to be one. Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite comic book movie trilogy of all time, and James Gunn hasn't made a bad comic book movie yet, so I thought it was a brilliant idea. Let's give him a whole damn universe to himself. Please, let's just leave Snyderism in the past and start off this fresh, brand new universe in the best way we possibly can. And I am pleased to say this movie rocks hard. And I know this is my first movie review I've done on this channel, so I'll just let you know, I am not an easy man to please, especially when it comes to modern day superhero movies. I caught myself recently realizing that I'm probably a little too cynical when it comes to modern Marvel or DC, so when I say this movie is my jam, it is my jam. David Cornsweet's Superman is absolutely everything that this superhero should be in today's age. He is the physical embodiment of human kindness, and when he's turning himself in and risking everything to save a dog, I'm like, damn, real. I would do the same thing if I was Superman. This Superman is so much more relatable, I feel like. He's so much more grounded and more realistic. He's so much more humanized, and he genuinely does make mistakes. And I just really like this direction for the character. I find it makes him so much easier to connect with, and I think a lot of people are going to find him a lot more inspirational than other Supermen. Because in spite of him making mistakes, he's still arguably morally perfect, at least depending on who you ask. He's a Superman that I can genuinely look up to and be like, wow, if he can be this good, maybe I can too. Superman is not a fantasy about how good it would be to have that much power. It's a fantasy about how great it would be if someone who had that much power was good. And given the current world circumstances of today, I think a character like this hits really hard. I think the best compliment that I can give this movie, honestly, is that I love every single character in this movie. Even the ones I'm supposed to hate, I love to hate them. The casting is absolutely on point for every single one of them, and every single character here is probably my favorite adaptation I've ever seen of them on the big screen. Lex Luthor is bald and very, very entertaining. Guy Gardner is worse than bald. What the heck is that? Whatever, I like it. Crypto the dog is adorable, and Lois Lane is an actual person. Now, if you want a negative, because yeah, not everything is sunshine and rainbows, I actually think the film's plot itself is actually kinda weak. But here's the catch, I don't really care, because everything else makes up for it, especially the characters. Sometimes you can afford for your plot to be a little lackluster as long as the characters are really strong. Then there's everything else, from the strong themes to the great performance to a really strong directorial performance by James Gunn. The man clearly had a vision for what he thought a Superman movie should be, and he executed bringing that vision to life perfectly. And yeah, sure, you can definitely tell that this is a James Gunn movie, for better or worse. I think it's kind of adorable how it really seems like James Gunn isn't very comfortable making a comic book film that doesn't have some sort of group dynamic in it at least. But at least he seems like aware of it, and I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that. It's good to know your strengths and weaknesses. Yes, I'm looking at you, George. Another way you might be able to tell this is a gun flick is that it's actually pretty funny. But it isn't too goofy like a lot of other modern superhero movies are today. It strikes that right balance between seriousness and having a laugh every once in a while. It may have even gotten a few chuckles out of me. maybe a few belly laughs. But you know what didn't give me a belly laugh? You know what instead gave me a very stern, disappointed, slightly concerned look on my face was when the first thing I saw in this movie when I sat down in the theater was a bunch of text telling me stuff that's very significant to the story about what has already happened. Stuff that we probably should have been able to see. So it was clear from the very first scene to me that this movie clearly has a lot of ground to cover. It has too many things to do and not enough time. And this does result in the story at times having a little too much going on. It causes us to lose some focus, but honestly I also think that raises a good question where, is it such a terrible thing that there's so much going on when everything that's going on is great content? I don't know. This movie had the big responsibility of starting off an entire cinematic universe, and I love this start for the DCU. This truly feels like a universe I'd be willing to follow for a long time, and I really like the world building here. I love how comic booky it feels and how it's not just a direct mirror of our universe, it feels more fictional. It has a little wackiness to it, and the tone is a little dorky in the way I think comic book movies probably should be. This movie is all about hope. It's a very hopeful movie, and it filled me with a lot of hope, so I really appreciated it. There's a lot of big movies coming out this summer, but I think this will probably end up being the most significant of them all. I do really want to watch this again, and hopefully next time I won't be half asleep watching it at like midnight, but I do know one thing for sure, it is really good. And I would say you should go watch it, but I mean, you probably have already watched it because this video is very late and life has just been absolutely destroying me lately. But you know, better very late than never ever. So it's also my birthday. So please make sure you leave a like on the video because it's my birthday and you wouldn't want to make me sad because it's my birthday. Make sure to comment down below and give me that engagement and subscribe to the channel because, you know, it's my birthday. I'm feeling a strong 8 to a light 9 on this Superman project transition.